You have to give Insta360 credit. They continue to improve the X5 by adding new features and releasing new accessories. And after the big summer update in July, there is now a big winter update with 3 new features and a total of 5 new accessories. I'll introduce everything to you today and give you a quick overview, so there's a lot to talk about. Let's start with the new features. These were actually already introduced with the last update 1.7.43 on November 27th. I would say that the update contains a total of 3 relevant new features. The most important one is definitely the new Instaframe mode. Insta360 calls it Instaframe 2.0. And I have to admit that the update has made the Instaframe mode much more interesting, and I will definitely be using it more often. The Instaframe mode is a 360 recording mode in which a reframed flat clip is recorded and, if required, a 360 recording at the same time, which you can then reframe yourself. This means you get 2 files as a result of your recording. And with the flat recording, a subject is of course captured and automatically kept in the center of the frame, similar to a recording in Me mode. The simultaneous recording of a reframed flat clip and a 360 clip was previously the unique feature of the Instaframe mode. That has now changed. So what's new? Previously, the Instaframe mode was very limited. Unlike in Me mode, flat recordings could be taken with a maximum resolution of 1080. With the update, the Instaframe mode now allows flat clips with a resolution of up to 4K and 30 frames per second, just like in Me mode. This significantly upgrades the flat clips of the Instaframe mode. And unlike in Me mode, these clips do not have to be opened and stabilized in the app. This recording, for example, was created directly in the camera without reframing. But that's not all. Previously, the subject holding the selfie stick was automatically kept in the center of the shot, so it wasn't possible to choose a subject yourself, which would then be tracked, so to speak. That has also changed. As you can see, subjects are now recognized and you can activate tracking with another tab. And this is completely independent of whether the subject is in front of or behind the camera. You can even adjust the framing. The subject is now tracked, like my friend skiing here, and the result of your recording is a reframed flat clip where the subject has already been tracked in the camera. This is a great new feature, especially because it is possible in 4K, and the Instaframe mode has received even more features. When recording flat clips, the Instaframe mode now works like a camera with a gimbal. Depending on the mode, a gimbal stabilizes and balances the movements of individual axes to achieve smooth and stable recordings. If you tap on Virtual Gimbal here, you can choose between the follow, pitch lock and FPV mode. In follow mode, lateral movements in the pan axis and up and down movements in the tilt axis are possible. Lateral rotations are compensated. In pitch lock mode, up and down movements of the tilt axis are also compensated. And only in FPV mode are lateral rotations possible, and the horizon no longer remains straight. This allows for such lateral rotational movements. Of course, all of this only applies to the recording of the flat clip in the Instaframe mode. Similar to a gimbal, you can also activate a joystick and adjust the framing. And there is also an automated 360 spin and a barrel roll. If you want to take a 360 recording at the same time as the flat clip, you can activate 360 video backup here at the top. In this case, the resolution of the flat clip is again limited to 1080, while the 360 recording is taken in 5.7K+. In my opinion, the update has completely revolutionized the Instaframe mode. The Instaframe mode has now become much more interesting, especially for recording reframed flat clips and skipping the reframing. All you need now is a suitable accessory for it. But more on that in a moment. The third new feature only applies to recordings in single lens mode. There are now a total of 8 new filters, such as NC Film, CC Film and Retro Neon, all exclusively for recordings in single lens mode. The new filters are designed to replicate the look of professional movies. However, they are also particularly interesting for the photo mode. And in single lens photo mode, you can now also take photos in the very cool 2.45:1 widescreen format. As you can see, you can also add a style border. There are various templates available for this. These photos were also taken with one of the new filters, and I think they look great. This brings us to the first new accessory, the new photography grip. This is designed to enhance the X5 for use as a photo camera and turn the X5 into a real camera for street photography. In fact, while shooting these photos, I noticed that it wasn't always ideal to hold the X5 sideways to take a photo, especially not with one hand. And that's what the photography grip is for. You screw the X5 onto the side and connect the grip via the USB-C port. The grip is recognized automatically and you can take photos very comfortably, even with one hand. And you also get a satisfying physical click sound. Of course, you can also use the grip to start recording videos, but this mainly makes sense for single lens shots. As usual with Insta360, the photography grip is of great build quality. While the photography grip is the perfect accessory for taking photos in the new 2.35:1 format, there are also one or even two new accessories that are particularly well suited for the new Instaframe mode. One of them is the new free-framing selfie stick. You can see from the handle and buttons that the stick was modeled after an Insta360 gimbal. And just like the gimbals from Insta360, it has an integrated tripod at the bottom, so you can set it up anywhere if necessary. There is also a tripod thread, so you can attach it to a larger tripod, for example. You attach the X5 to this half frame and can now mount the camera either horizontally or vertically. Of course, the stick can be extended. It also has a joint at the top, so you can rotate the camera, for example when vlogging. And the cool thing is, when you turn it on, you can see from the LED lights that the stick is very reminiscent of the Flow 2 Pro. But that's not all. It also works in the same way. You can connect the stick via Bluetooth, just like a Bluetooth remote. The free-framing selfie stick can now be used like a remote in all recording modes. But it was made for the new Instaframe mode. In the new Instaframe mode, the stick turns your X5 into a real gimbal with a camera, only with an invisible selfie stick effect. You can adjust the framing using the joystick. You can zoom in and out using the dial. With the button on the left, you can start and stop recording. With the button at the top, you activate a 360 spin or barrel roll. Here on the right, you can switch the camera from front to back and vice versa. And with the trigger button on the back, you can start and stop tracking, just like with an Insta360 gimbal. It's crazy what Insta360 has come up with here. If you like the new Instaframe mode and plan to use it frequently to record reframed flat clips, then this is the perfect accessory. But there is another new accessory that works well with the new Instaframe mode. Do you know this stick? It's the Throwpod from Insta360. It's a relatively long and sturdy stick. When you press the bottom lightly against the ground, a fairly large and stable tripod opens automatically. It's so stable that I've used it for more than just the X5. It's a great accessory. But it has one drawback. It's a bit big and heavy if you want to take it with you. That's why there's now a new Throwpod 2.0. Basically, it's a very similar stick with two key new features. When pushed together, it's significantly smaller and lighter, and it has a slot for the mini remote. In fact, the stick is also available to buy as a bundle with the mini remote. Funnily enough, the new Throwpod is longer than the old Throwpod when extended. It's about the same length as the standard selfie stick from Insta360, but with the important difference that it has a built-in tripod at the bottom. However, the tripod is not as large and stable as the tripod on the old Throwpod. This is not absolutely necessary for use with the X5. If you set up the X5 with the tripod somewhere, you can now use the new Instaframe mode to track yourself all around directly by the camera, similar to using a gimbal with the tracking function activated. This can be very useful, and there are two more new accessories. One of them is extremely important to me personally. With the summer update, 3 ND filters were introduced for the X5. This made the X5 the first 360 camera to support ND filters. There was an ND16, an ND32 and an ND64 filter. However, even an ND64 may not be sufficient for extremely bright days, such as when skiing. For such situations, there is now an even stronger filter, the ND128. I tested it right away when skiing. In fact, it wasn't that bright here. An ND64 would have been sufficient, because it was slightly cloudy. And especially when I stopped the recording, you can see that the low shutter speed creates a nice motion blur effect. This results in a softer and more natural shot. Movements look more cinematic and realistic. But this isn't for everyone. There are also those who always prefer a particularly sharp shot. And, of course, motion blur also leads to slightly poorer stabilization and the occasional jerkiness. However, the shot still looks very stable. After all, this was filmed while skiing with the selfie stick attached to the ski pole using the ski pole mount. Have you ever used a suction cup like this with a camera? For example, on the outside of a car? Then you probably know that it takes a lot of trust to do so. At some point, the vacuum pressure will decrease and the camera will fall off the next time the road surface becomes uneven. To prevent this, there is now the electric suction cup mount, a highly interesting, albeit very special accessory. The electric suction cup mount has an integrated pump that continuously pumps out air as soon as it is attached. It has an integrated electronic sensor that continuously measures the pressure. If the pressure drops, it's increased again. There is a joint at the top, and you can see from the mount that this is not an accessory designed exclusively for the X5, but also for the Ace Pro 2, for example. You can also adjust the angle with the joint. It's extremely easy to use. You attach it to a flat surface and press the button. The suction cup has a battery life of up to 5 days, and unlike the old model, it is also suitable for very bumpy roads, as it can withstand impacts of up to 500 G. You can use it to attach the camera to the side or inside of your car. If you want to attach the X5 to your car with a stick, there is also a version with 3 electric suction cups, so that you can attach and support a selfie stick securely. As you can see, you can take very special and cool shots with the new suction cup. Now you know everything that's new for the X5. Personally, I'm a big fan of the new Instaframe mode, and I think I'll be using some of the new accessories a lot. The new ND128 for skiing, the new free-framing selfie stick with the new Instaframe mode, and the new Throwpod is certainly another highlight. You can find links to all accessories below in the description. By the way, the X5 is still on sale, and if you use the link in the description, you'll continue to receive the excellent mic Air as an exclusive gift. There will of course be more videos about the X5, so stay tuned and see you next time.